Hello, 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 everybody. I hadn't told you, Rafa, but today is the 12th episode that we are recording, which means it's been a year.
Really?
It's been a year
Wow.
since we started. The time really flies. We've covered a good number of beautiful, great
Mm-hmm.
music. And
That's
today
right.
we are wrapping up this first year of this season. By the way, you guys can see me. If you can barely see me, I'm super dark in everything. There's a problem with the camera. So I know that people on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Music really won't notice because it is only audio for them. But here for the video, you can barely see me. So that will be fixed soon. Okay, so let's get into this 12th episode, which is going to be. Let me share with you some of the background of it. You know that we've been sharing some songs and pieces of music that are not opera. And this is the case for this symphony from one of the greatest composers ever born. We are talking about Ludwig van Beethoven, and this is the super popular, super famous, super very well known ninth symphony. I'm pretty sure everybody will notice that the, the part that we are referring to. It is called the Ode to Joy. There are some changes and there are many things that I would like to share with you. But before we get into the details of this part of the ode of the symphony, I would like to share with you this first recording because this first recording is what will give me the opportunity to give you the comments and the explanations of the following two videos. So, with no more talking, well, I'm not sure if you would like to say something, Rafa, before we actually go for the first one.
Just to let you know, guys, that uh, uh, maybe you don't ask, but I just briefly want to share that to sing in a chorus is a great experience. I did this experience in my past, in my 20s, when I was living in Mexico City. So it's very pretty different when you're a single singer, when you are in a chorus, let's say, mm, performance, and is this experience is such a kind, very lovely experience because it's when you are singing in the middle of this dozen of voices is great. Is great. The music in conjunction with the voices, you can see the director and the thirds, the fifths, all that kind of things. It makes a magical moment in the stage. Just to let you know about that.
Nah, it's great. I think it's a great comment because yes, and also many people think of a great career being solists. Of course, everybody
Mm-hmm.
wants to be it, but people who also work or are part of a choir know that as you just explained, it is a complete difference.
Mm-hmm.
The massive impression,
Mm-hmm.
emotion, the sound that a group of people can get together. Well, I will not explain. You know what we are talking about, and what a better place to see what a number of voices can do together than the to Joy, part of the Ninth Symphony from Maestro Ludwig van Beethoven. Before I forget, people, you will notice that the audio of these recordings is very low. There is not much we can do. This is the original music. So this is what the original audio level was part of it. But with no further interruption, let's go to listen to this. And I would say that I was not sharing that one. I just realized and said, why didn't Rafa tell me that I was not sharing it? I was already enjoying, and you didn't give me the
I,
cue
I
that, hey,
thought I thought
Ricardo.
you was listening. Yes, I don't want to
I
interrupt because we are live.
I mean, I was listening, so I really didn't have a problem. So I'm going to play it back for everybody to appreciate this great. So, as you could see, as you could realize, there are several things that are different in this all Ode to Joy that we just watched and heard. Um, and I wanted to share this one first because that was actually what is the original composition from the ninth. We will see now, and I'm pretty sure that you have in your minds something that is much longer, in a way much louder with the core, but those are adaptations, arrangements, basically to make it more spectacular and make it more digestible for most people. But the original, as it was written, is what we have heard. If you notice, it was at the very beginning and it was extremely short, but that's what it looks actually in there. Yes, a moment of grandiosity in the volume and the energy of the orchestration, and then continues with the flow of the music. Just to give you the reference of that, despite what we think we know about the music, sometimes we get a surprise. This composition from the ninth has been translated to many languages. Uh, of course, one of them is our native language, Raffa, which is called in Spanish Himno a la Alegría. And there are even rock adaptations of this one with electric guitars and everything, also to make it very spectacular. But the actual one is what we just watched. So, from the
Mm-hmm.
perspective of that one, that was the original, I'm not sure if we should really grade it because it is as it has to be. But besides some comments on this recording that we just watched, Rafa.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think this is a topic, as you said, is something that most of the, let's say, of the not music people or regular people are not used to hear this movement of the ninth, um, because the the most popular phrase or conjunction of compasses, I don't know how to say, the most popular um, versus
Passage, yeah.
the passage. Let's thank you. That's the one. Yes, is the la da 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 da, as on the world we know. But as I could see in here, it's a fact that it's the most closest performance than the original as was written. I could see you can feel it. That's a point number one. You can feel it because it's different. Um, the scenario is in a church, in a temple, or seems to be something like this. I can imagine to being there. The echo will be spectacular with that kind of quantity of people singing and the orchestra and the regiments and so on. That will be really awesome to be over there. Um, because at that time, maybe when Beethoven and that kind of artists write and compose and perform that kind of shows, I think most of them were in that kind of scenarios or temples, churches, or little
Chapels.
chapels. Thank you, chapels, or maybe in a theater, but the acoustic that was great. That was used and built for that, you know. And nowadays is something different. Sometimes it's different, and but you can see in this in this performance that besides the usual passage, the whole thing has movement, has peaks, has valleys. The director was, my point of view, it was he has a great conduction with the whole movement. Um, and I think not much to say about the voices. That was great. At the end, that was great. The music was great. I really liked the arrangements, and at the end, it wasn't kind of unexpected till the end because you can maybe thought or think that you can maybe think that it was going to be louder and spectacular or something like this, and in this case, it's not the same. It's not the case, you know.
Yeah,
That's what I will say.
this performance is very proper. Is what one,
Mm-hmm.
as I was saying, what one should expect with a
Mm-hmm.
good director, a very nice place, a very nice venue.
Mm-hmm.
But keep in mind that people came to watch the Ninth Symphony.
Mm-hmm.
It's different when you want to see the whole performance, which is much, much, much longer. Tells you know each of the movements tells a story. So the ninth is huge, but the one
Mm-hmm.
what we are paying attention is just a piece of it.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, if you want to call the attention of people, you have to make that single piece greater and more spectacular in order to call the attention. So, and that's what we are going to see in recording number 2. This is one of one of these. Well, I'm going to save my comment because otherwise I'm going to spoil it. If I start telling you, I'm going to spoil it. So now I will make sure that I am going to share from the beginning so that I don't commit the same mistake as before. Okay, so I think you will be able to watch it. And this one is not as poor in the volume, it's a little better, but visually it's very interesting. So I will not spoil it. Let's take a look at this one. And so, Rafa, as everybody could see and hear, this is a completely different
Mm-hmm.
uh, experience from several perspectives. And there are many things that I would like to share, but as again, I would like to first start with your comments. These ones
Mm-hmm. Thank
are
you.
called flash mobs. So, what do you think about this flash mob?
I didn't know that has a name. It's
It does.
the Flash what?
MOB, flash mob.
Okay. Wow. I didn't know. But anyhow, uh, when I first when I starting to see that kind of flash mob in the media, let's say, I thought, wow, it's amazing and so on, and what a great and that kind of stuff. But with time, when I looking up on and on, I could see that in a way it's just kind of to attract some kind of a market, let's say, in the musicians or in the people, or I don't know exactly what's the aim of this, but is at the end is satisfy the media, the Facebook or the Instagram or that kind of stuff. It's is not, for my point of view, is not in a way for the music for the music. You know what I mean? And why? Because you can see people uh, recording in the phone, saying hi to the musician, touching her hands, and that kind of stuff. And I'm not telling you that this is wrong. It's fine. It's kind of an approach with a musician with you cannot do this kind of approach in a scenario, for example, in a theater or something like this. It's fine, but for example, I cannot see the micros or the speakers in which all this that you can hear through your cell phone or maybe through your screen in YouTube or whatever uh, program or whatever streaming you are seeing. um, I cannot see this producing stuff that you were seeing in the screen. You know what I mean? So I don't know where it come from. The whole. I can see the people which is singing, yes, but I cannot see the micros. For example, I cannot see in the orchestra. I cannot see the micros as well. I cannot see the speakers. Where in this plaza that you can see what you can hear in here is not what you see in the screen. I don't know if you catch my
Yeah, yeah.
idea, but it's a kind of uh, it's a kind of much more the marketing wave in the media than uh, the art in the music. Talking about the music, I think it was fine. The ending was spectacular. Yes, that was great. But maybe the place or the place for my point of view is not that we are seeing in there. Maybe I'm so ignorant about these topics. As I said, even I didn't know that it does exist of a name for that kind of topics. Flash mob. Never I noticed about that.
Well, I would agree to a good number of your comments. As I was saying, our first video today is what is actually part of the Ninth Symphony. And what we are seeing now is a more marketable,
Mm-hmm,
commercial, for the
mm-hmm,
masses product that
mm-hmm,
can call their attentions. Of course, if you put the orchestra and the choir as we watch in the first video, would hardly call Of course, many people would approach, but it could not be as marketable as we can see in these ones. Of course, there are many questions that I had the opportunity of accidentally watching one a flash mob several years ago in Vancouver, and it was a very nice experience. It was also well that is more related to the third video that is coming, but it was in a mall.
Okay,
So we
okay.
we were walking by, saw the music, saw the performers, and then we approached. But if you ask me if that was what people saw later on the video, I wouldn't be
Mm-hmm.
able to tell. I know what
Mm-hmm.
experience I had there, but I'm not sure it could be what people saw later. Because also there are it is supposed to be like natural and naturally calling the people's attention, and some people are pretended to be attracted to this naturally. But I have also asked myself many production questions, as in,
Mm-hmm.
you
Exactly.
know, the camera has several angles that are supposed
Mm-hmm.
to be natural. But of course, if you see a guy carrying a professional camera, of course you see him. So it is impossible that you act natural when you have a guy after you with a monster this huge, right? Or
Exactly, yes.
from the upside, and you are supposed to be walking. So there are many things that are produced to give you the experience that they were
Mm-hmm.
as they happened, but they couldn't. Also because of you say as the audio, because um, you know that the places where we listen to classical music are constructed in a way that the music can run easily, that you can actually hear the sound. And here in this recording, the audio captures almost all the quality of the instruments, which is weird because not all the balance in the sound of the instruments is difficult in a music room. So it should be way more difficult in the outside where you don't have, the right place to project and where to, because also the position of the instruments, it's important where
Mm-hmm.
the choir is so that you can see, you can actually watch the director and the director perceives. There are many technical complications that
A lot.
make me
Yes.
believe this is, if not fake, or at least not really true.
Close to, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Also,
because yes. Mm-hmm.
is it the repetition of the same motive as it starts with
Mm-hmm.
an instrument, repetition with second instrument, and the instruments keep adding like layers, following uh, the same order until the choir joins. They go for the passage that everybody knows, and then wraps up.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way it is constructed. But I also agree that there are things that do not really connect, leaves you with
Mm-hmm.
more doubts than certainties. But on the other side, for people who were like me, walking down on Vancouver and finally rounding to one of these
Mm-hmm.
things, it is, from my perspective, it is a nice experience because,
Yeah,
well,
could be, yes, yes,
mainly
yes.
because I love music. So whenever I have the
Mm-hmm.
opportunity of watching musicians, it's like super great for me. And when you
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
can have them much closer, I agree. And this is a very well-known piece of music. So putting that, I think for people walking in a mall, like I was like that day, I think it works. If
Yes.
if you could really say, this is organic, this is natural, yes, suddenly without rehearsal, the violins were in pitch and were in the tempo with the other instruments, that sounds questionable to say the least, because you are
Exactly.
already on the street.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're on the street and there's this number of people and people are talking, there is too much noise to concentrate on the sound of your instrument. Again, I repeat, it's questionable if that the sound that we are actually listening is really what was happening there.
Yeah, because if you close, for example, if you close your eyes and someone else put this video and you just hearing what is in this video, but without seeing anything, you just close your eyes. You certainly will say, okay, this is maybe, if not a studio recording, but at least a very careful production, musical in a certain stage or so on, but not in a plaza, you
Yeah,
know, because in the plaza yesterday I went to the theater, for example, and there was a restaurant with a live music, and this music was louder in a plaza, and the sound expands in the whole plaza. It is not the same, you know. It's not the same as you can hear when you are hearing a city play or a concert, which is, as I said, very, very careful with the production topics that you need to care about when you are performing in a plaza. This is, from my point of view, it's impossible.
Close
No,
to impossible, absolutely.
yeah, yeah.
And the following one is also very interesting from the perspective of if it is really what happened, because now we're having an actual recording in a mall. The mall, when I saw this flash mob, it was like more open space. This one is like, like in apartments, a very narrow corridor. But it is interesting to see from a perspective of production, from the people who realized in his mind that he wanted to produce this spectacle. I would like you to
Mm.
pay attention to visually what we are going to see, and of course, people who are listening to us, to how this is building and building and building, and of course, see if you enjoy. So, Rafa, what are your thoughts on these flash mobs now in Tokushima, Japan?
Really, it's Japan. I
Yep.
thought it was in China, but yes, I can see the katakana in here over there. Yeah. Tokushima, that's right, Japan. Totally different, much more realistic. As you said in the previous comments, when you are in a closed building or scenario, whatever, and much more in a mall, the echo it plays in favor of the singers, in favor of the orchestra, and the people in there can see much better who are the singers. And as I told you before, you can see the speakers, you can see the micros, you can see the whole stuff, the whole production of which is in there. In fact, when the solists were singing, the camera was in front of them, because it was 10 meters or 50 meters out of along of them, it will be impossible to hear them, you know. So that's the reason why the camera was in front of them, maybe in their face, you know. So for my point of view, this is the best. It's a great ending. It was a great change at the end of the song. It was as well. It was spectacular, and not more to say. This is the best flash mob that I have seen. It's not fake.
Yeah, I fully agree. The production of this one is more successful. The arrangement,
Mm-hmm.
because it also starts as the previous one, plays plays the motif, then repeats as the instruments are adding. But here, the
Mm-hmm.
number of instruments is also more believable. In the previous
Exactly.
one, there is a questionable amount of violins and other
Mm-hmm.
instruments that you say, no, with that number of musicians, you really don't get that quality of sound. So this one is more believable. There are microphones, even though I see them in very suspicious positions, in order to really catch all the audio. So I'm not pretty sure about if the audio we heard is also like a playback, also
uh,
captured outside and then mounted
mm-hmm.
on the
Mm-hmm.
videogram, probably. But the way
Mm-hmm.
it is produced, besides being more believable, I think that it's more careful thought with different
Mm-hmm.
angles. The number of musicians adding in number, I think it's fine. Dividing the choir on different levels of the mall, and I really nice like that, as I was sharing from a production point of view. I was saying the arrangement is more believable, is more spectacular. It ends in a more peak, like it is the peak of the music, and it wraps up
Mm-hmm.
in this other movement, which of course brings people to be very excited about this one. So I really love this one a lot.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
But before we get to the actual scoring of which
Mm-hmm.
ones we like, I also wanted to leave a message that we didn't mention earlier, and that was not the idea, or well, it was partially the idea when I selected this to be our 12th program, our 12th episode of this season. But now, well, we know that on the podcast, people who stream the audio listen to our content probably in a year, in 2 years, in 3 years, immediately after we publish. People in the podcast are very random on when they are going to actually listen to it. People on YouTube, of course, it is immediate. If we don't get blocked, as it has happened in the past. If we don't get blocked, people are going to watch it. We can say that we are recording and transmitting this program on the 8th of March, year 2026. And we are
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately witnessing uh, horrible events,
Mm-hmm.
bombing again, men destroying men again. And we didn't mention it earlier, but the text of this ode to joy is what really it talks about. It talks
Mm-hmm.
about the fraternity of humans
Mm-hmm.
with humans and peace and care, and has a very, very, very positive message. Unfortunately, I have to say to my people who speak Spanish, no, the translation that you hear, the Escucha hermano, la canción de la alegría, that is not the actual translation of the text. It comes from a poem, also in German. The text is not exactly what we have in Spanish, of course, because you had to move many things to make it make sense, but still keeps the message on the actual joy and happiness of people being together. So with the horrible things that are happening now, with people destroying people, I think it is a very positive message to keep our minds that after all that darkness, the light must come back. And
Mm-hmm.
I know that for centuries we have said that people are going to be better. It doesn't seem to be happening, to be sincere. But these are the days that we are living now. Too much war, too much blood in almost every
Mm-hmm.
continent. But hopefully, uh, if you're watching it in a year of two, things will be hopefully better. And the music of Maestro Beethoven will remain with that intensity and with that capacity to move us from very, very, very deep within ourselves. If somebody tells you that they can hear to this passage of the Off to the Joy and don't feel moved, he's certainly lying, because
Mm-hmm.
Beethoven composed something that even if you don't know the words, it really touches you in the intensity of the singing, in this intensity of the music. And of course, this is something that you bring forever with you.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So with that having said, let's go for the for the comments. it's not nice to rate the number one because the number one is what it has to be. As we said in the
Hmm.
beginning, is the actual formal execution as Maestro Beethoven wrote it. Of course, people who are now used to products like these flash mobs, they say, "Oh, but it's like slower, it's like this, it's like that." But
Mm.
it's not a fair comparison. But still, we need to run our exercise. What do you think? What would you go for the first one, Rafa?
Yes, exactly the same that you said. Is not a fair comparison because the other one, the first one is a classic, let's say, and the third, which is very nice performance, is for the latest days, you know. So for the first one, I will give a thumbs up,
Okay.
100%.
Also,
Yes.
what can I say? I cannot do anything, but also say it is a thumbs up for the first one. It's
Mm-hmm.
absolutely beautiful. Great conduction, great choir, great musicians, great
Mm-hmm.
place to watch the complete ninth, which I actually had the opportunity of watching it a couple of years ago. In Mexico, it is not very popular to listen to complete symphonies in the theaters. I was lucky to watch it, not in such a beautiful place as in the first one, but I still managed to watch it live. The second one, Rafa, in Sabatel, Spain, what do you think?
No, no, thumbs down. As I said, the music was great, yes, but according to the images or the video, it's a lie.
It's fake.
It's a lie. It's fake.
So for you, it's a
Uh,
thumbs down then.
yeah,
Okay, second one for me, I
it's
have
not
to
an
agree.
art. For me, it's not an art.
It's and it's a very popular video. You wouldn't believe there are
Yeah,
many channels on YouTube that
Bad
are
Bunny, it's also popular. And so what? Yes.
well,
No, no, no. Yes.
I cannot tell you anything about it. Okay, you kill my God. So I will go somewhere between middle, they like leaning to
Okay.
thumbs down in
Okay.
my case. And what about the flash mob in Japan?
Yeah, super, super duper well. It's thumbs up. Yes.
Great one. Yeah, I think it's very clear. I What else can I
Hmm.
add except that it is a thumbs up? Beautiful, beautiful production, and
Yeah, beautiful.
hopefully,
Yeah.
this brings
Natural. Yes.
natural, yeah, more organic. Hopefully, this will
Hmm.
bring classical music more to everyday people.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
think that is the positive message that I would like to take from these flash mobs.
Hmm.
One
Hmm.
so produced, not natural, not believable, but still calls people into classical music. That's the thing that I would rescue from that one, and this
Okay.
one really nails it. And well, if you're in a town where you're lucky enough to run into a flash mob, because that is supposed also to be the idea that you're walking down the street, that you're purchasing something, and suddenly listen to classical music playing somewhere, and then you approach, and naturally the environment builds up. I think there's been a couple of them in Mexico. I'm
Hmm.
going to find out that information. Uh, and better if I find a recording. But well, that could be it for our today's program. Really thank you everyone for following us for, as I was saying, for our 12th episode on this season 9, a year already
Hmm.
that we are enjoying this wonderful music. And well, we'll see you in a month.
Thank you, Rich, for the year. Have a
Take
great
care.
day.
Thank you.
Bye bye.